And reaction is pouring in the aftermath of the tense meeting between Zelenskyy and Trump. Russia's special envoy, Kirill Dmitriev, posted this on social media. He had retweeted a video of the tense exchange at the White House earlier today, calling the moment historic. And U.S. Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer posted this on his social media, reading, quote, "Trump and Vance are doing Putin's dirty work. Senate Democrats will never stop fighting for freedom and democracy." Let's bring in CTV military analyst, retired Major General David Fraser. General, thanks for joining us once again. Now, you say this changes the war completely. How so?
Well, I think it gives a great advantage to Putin right now that he could attack knowing that he's got a organization on the other side of him, United States and Ukraine at war with themselves politically. We just saw France and Great Britain in Washington this week, and they must be just aghast and now of what does this mean for them and their security, requirements and a necessity of doing more with NATO, because is United States going to be here next week or next month? I think, we are seeing potentially the beginning of the United States disengaging from Ukraine if President Zelenskyy doesn't come back on hands and knees to, ask for amends from the bully that we saw today.
Trump says he wants peace. He wants to get into Ukraine for a business deal. Could this all be in jeopardy now?
Well, I don't think there's any deal right now, Renee. That deal is now being parked because, the attitudes that President Trump talked about truly are the problem. And it's not just with Zelenskyy, it's with the United States. It's everybody's not playing nicely in the sandbox right now. And the only person that is taking advantage of this and that it benefits is Putin. Putin is the winner in this because we are now seeing divisions amongst NATO partners in trying to fight, the person and the country that invaded Ukraine, and they're now all squabbling and fighting amongst themselves. This is not a good day for diplomacy or for the war.
Do you see the war possibly intensifying?
If I was Putin, I would intensify the war right now because he certainly has, Ukraine now on a disadvantage. He's even got, United States where, they were supposed to come in here as the great peacemaker. He was going to have this thing solved even, long before now. That was President Trump's announcement. It's not going to be solved in any time soon. This really, politically for Russia, it's good news for them. Militarily, it's good news. It's bad news for the rest of us.
I believe we have a social media post from the president of Ukraine. I'm not sure if that is ready for us to bring up right now. Oh, here we are. So I'm going to read that out, and I'll get your reaction to it, Mr. Fraser. So it says, quote, "Thank you, America. Thank you for your support. Thank you for this visit. Thank you, POTUS, Congress, and the American people. Ukraine needs just and lasting peace, and we are working exactly for that." Did this meeting today accomplish anything towards lasting peace?
In a word, no. And I think, this is where saner heads are going to have to rule that, that post from President Zelenskyy, and he did say throughout the meeting, thank you. He praised President Trump for what he's done. And let's give Trump and United States credit. They are a great catalyst in trying to get this thing ended. But the emotions were flying. And I think, President Zelenskyy is going to have to be the person that's going to come back and, thank you, President, and thank the United States, and be a little bit more contrite because, President Trump's right. Ukraine needs the United States more than the United States needs Ukraine.
So where does this leave everything? Will the two leaders speak again? Will they, do you think, get on the phone and try to hash something out and meet again?
I do believe that they will both come back together and meet. The question is how long, because, Trump has rested a lot of credibility, political credibility, on his ability to bring a deal. He's going to try to blame Zelenskyy that he couldn't get that deal. But I think at the same time, what Trump wants to do with Russia, he's now in a bit of a conundrum where he's got to do something to pull this deal out of the bin. At the same time, he wants a better relationship with Putin, and he's going to have to do something to show Putin that he can bring a deal together. So they're going to come back and have some sort of conversations, but it's going to be a rough couple of weeks right now because I think Europe is really on edge of what happens next because we all need United States in Europe.
How closely do you think the European Union is watching, and what do you think is going through their minds?
Well, I suspect the lights are turning on all across Europe right now, and those lights are turning on to watch this and also start writing up briefing notes to political leaders everywhere to say, what is the impact of this on NATO? What's the impact on this on everything that has to do with the United States? Because, President Trump is in a sour mood tonight. And what happens to Ukraine affects everybody in the European Union and NATO. And I think everybody's going to be wondering what's going on. I think we'll probably see Macron and the Prime Minister of UK probably phoning President Trump this week to try to assuage some of the tone and the anger that's going on here to get people back to the table and urge both Ukraine and the United States to sign that deal.
The tensions have been ramping up between these two men for, I don't know, a couple of weeks leading into this meeting. Trump, of course, calling Zelenskyy a dictator. That all being said, did you expect something like this to happen today?
I didn't expect this to happen publicly. I expected to see something like this behind closed doors and that it would be a very tense meeting. But the fact that Zelenskyy came this far to sign a deal, I figured he was just looking for some security assurances walking out here. But the vice president certainly just launched the conversation today when he interjected about that, and then President Zelensky's retort, and then just got Trump mad. I did not expect to see this play out as it did. I thought that those three men would have done this behind closed doors over lunch and, metaphorically speaking, maybe throw a bun at each other.
Now, the fact that this did occur so openly, do you think Trump might be feeling embarrassment?
I don't think Trump's ever felt embarrassment. I think maybe Trump has felt anger that he has been one-upped in his own Oval Office to allow this to happen because, quote unquote, he was the great deal maker. And this deal just collapsed in front of the world in the Oval Office even before they even had lunch to sign it. So I think this is a great embarrassment to him on that way. What he does next to see whether or not he's the great deal maker, what does this do to the rest of his agenda? We can't underestimate what Donald Trump will do next, but it's a really dangerous day for the world.
Yes, certainly. I mean, what do you think is going to be coming in the next, couple of days, the next week or so? Do you see this, any kind of resolve coming?
I do think someone's going to have to come with an olive branch back to the Oval Office to say, hey, look, things got out of hand. We really want to sign this deal. Let's do it in a public way. I'll apologize that I was maybe not as appreciative of the United States, but I want to sign the deal because you're a great partner. I think there's going to be some reinforcing fire from France and from Great Britain just to make sure to smooth things over. The president has got that state visit to the king, and I think all of this, everybody is incentivized to find a peace settlement to stop the killing. I think everybody wants that. It's really dangerous and difficult to try to get that, signed. And while at the same time, Putin's just quite happy that, we're fighting amongst ourselves. But I think on the other side of the table, I do think people who want peace. It's just now who's going to make the first move just to say, okay, things got out of hand. Let's go back to the table and let's sign the agreement.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is a good place to leave it. Once again, General, thank you very much for your insight here. We always appreciate your time.
Renee, thank you.
And once again, that is retired Major General David Fraser.